All right, lesson 7, just 3 rules for working with teens. So I've said in the last couple of lessons that for me, one of my guiding philosophies for teaching is that if I win the hearts of a student, I'm going to win their mind. And that's what these 3 rules are all about. So what did teenagers complain about? Just think about that for a moment. If teenagers are going to complain about how some adult interacts with them, it's generally going to revolve around a couple of things. One, they expect me to be the perfect model citizen. They hold me to this standard that I just can't meet. Like they expect kids to act like perfect adults. They're like, well, you're 18, you're almost an adult. You need to act like it. Or you're 18, you are an adult. You need to act like it. We hold them to this high standard of that they should be acting like a 30-year-old acts. Guess what? They're teenagers. Or more commonly, they're going to complain about this. They treat me like I'm a little kid. Sometimes they act like it, but that's what they're going to complain about, that we treat them like they're in middle school or elementary school, and they get frustrated by that. That's what they're going to complain about. And so that's where I kind of came up with these 3 rules. Rule 2 and Rule 3 came from when I was working with teenagers in college. I was a manager at a Chick-fil-A, and I kind of learned how to interact with them there. And then this first one, that's the golden rule. This one comes from the Bible. So just treat others how you want to be treated. It's amazing how many times I hear throughout my teaching career, I've heard teachers complain, those kids should treat me with respect. And I'm like, do you treat them with respect first? They're like, no, they owe it to me. I'm the teacher. I'm the authority. Like, treat people how you want to be treated. If you treat the kids with respect first, you're going to get it back. Because guess what? You're the adult in the room. If you're the adult in the room, you should be the one making the right decisions. Okay? And so you should be showing respect. That's just, to me, that seems obvious to me, that we should be showing respect to our students, and you're going to get it back. You show a willingness to be with them, they're going to be with you and engaged in return. Like, what you want out of your kids, model it towards them. A big thing for me is going beyond I'm sorry. Or even apologizing when you do something wrong. So that's a big thing for me. So if I do something, like I am sarcastic when I teach. And every now and then I just blow it. And I'm overly sarcastic. I say something that's a little bit too snide, and I hurt somebody's feelings. I apologize for it. And if I do it in front of the whole class, my apology needs to be in front of the whole class. Because I'm modeling what to do. I'm modeling how to respond to interactions. Or if I'm upset about something an administrator is doing, the kids ask me about it, I try to model how to respectfully respond to an authority figure. And I try to model what that looks like. And I try to dialogue that through with them. And I make a teachable moment out of it. But I'm trying to model and show them what I want them to return to me. And for most students, that's pretty intuitive. If I treat them with respect, they're going to respect me back, usually. It works fairly well. All right, so like I said, respect, you're going to get respect back. All right, rule 2. I will treat you like an adult until your actions deem otherwise. This is my default position with working with teenagers. They hate being treated like kids, despise it. If you want to get a teenager ticked off and fighting against you, treat them like a kid. Think about it. I mean, how often have you had like an administrator or a department chair who like wanted to micromanage you and treat you like you were 7? It ticked you off. You're like, and you didn't want anything to do with it. And teenagers do the same thing. And so I treat them like an adult. I will give them expectations, expect them to meet those expectations. If they choose to act like a child, I will then treat them like a child. If they want to pout and whine, then I will treat them like a 7-year-old who is pouting and whining. That's my pet peeve. Whining is probably my biggest pet peeve as a teacher. But generally I'm going to treat you like an adult. That means respect. That means if you bring me a problem, I'm going to listen to you and not dismiss you. I'm going to treat you like an equal to a point. I'm still the authority figure in the room. I'm going to teach you how to respond to authority. because I am the authority. I'm not your friend, I'm your teacher. But I'm going to listen to you. So, like, if I've got a test scheduled for Thursday, and the kids are like, hey, Mr. Anderson, we got this, this, and this. And I'm like, instead of just saying, nope, scheduled for Thursday, sorry, deal with it. I'm going to be like, all right, well, what can we do? Let's talk about it. And we'll dialogue on it. And they'll be like, well, there's this and this. And I'm like, all right, let me talk to your other teachers, and we'll see what's going on, and we'll work out a solution. Does that work? They're like, yes. All right, solved. I interact with them like I would like a co-teacher. And so that works great. Just working with kids very simply like that. All right. Third rule is a really important one that comes off of number 2. I'll treat you like an adult until your actions seem otherwise. I will not hold you to the standards of an adult. You're 16, 17, 18. You're not 36, 37, 38. You're not going to act like that. You're not going to make mature decisions. Teenagers do stupid stuff. Newsflash. Right? That's how they work. So they're going to do stupid things, and so we need to do something about that. And so, a lot of times I do, when they mess things up the first time, instead of saying, you should have known better, I've been treating you like an adult, you should know better, I'm going to be like, all right, do they really know better? Do I need to teach them? So I teach them. For example, I had a teacher that I worked with years ago who was also very sarcastic with his kids. But, if you're being sarcastic with teenagers, eventually they're going to cross the line because they don't always know where it is. And they're going to say something back that's on the, too snide, disrespectful, that kind of thing. And what he would do is he'd basically be really sarcastic with them. And when they came back over the line, he'd give them a detention. And the kids would get so frustrated because they would literally feel like they were being baited. Where for me, my philosophy on that is, all right, I'm being sarcastic. Kid comes back, he crosses the line. My response is, whoa, stop. That just crossed the line. Do you understand why? Yes, Mr. Anderson, I understand why that was wrong. All right, let's not do that again, okay? If you do, we're going to have some consequences. All right. By taking that brief moment, the first time they cross that line, that first time they do something stupid, and making it more of a teachable moment, behavior-wise, instead of just punishing them, makes a huge difference. Because now, the next time it happens, if that kid crosses the line and I've got to, crack on them or like send them out of the room or give them attention or whatever, now they know better and they generally tend to accept the consequence better because we've gone over it. I gave them a teachable moment. I taught them and I said, hey, if it happens again, here's what's going to happen. And when it happens, they're like, you're right, Mr. Anderson. Once again, not always. Sometimes they still flip out and they act like a kid and then we have to treat them like a kid, all that jazz. But for the most part, when I do this kind of thing and I expect them to make mistakes, or another one that comes up often is they come into my class and they're just mad about how, Mr. Brown graded that U.S. history test, specifically this question. And I'm like, hey, did you talk to Mr. Brown about that question? They're like, yeah, and he just blew us off. And da-da-da-da. And I'm like, all right, whoa, rewind. How did you bring it up? Oh, and they'll tell me something, and it's usually some very direct, kind of very aggressive question, which would put just about anybody on the defensive. And so I'll rewind like, hey guys, do you see how that could make somebody feel defensive? What if you said it this way? What if you asked this way? Hey, Mr. Brown, would you be willing to explain how you graded number 5? You see how that would be more inviting to Mr. Brown, and you can actually finally have a dialogue about, trying to understand how he graded it, and then asking if that was fair, or then we can, you're not starting off on a bad foot. Once again, works wonders. Just to take a moment and be like, kids are going to make mistakes, and I'm going to teach them. And part of this also is I have a philosophy as a teacher that it's my job to teach them more than chemistry. It's my job to teach the whole child. It's my job to try to help that child be ready for life outside of high school and outside of college. Hey, here's how you interact with authority figures. Hey, here's how you deal with your peers when you're mad at each other. Here's how you apologize and ask for forgiveness. Here's how, just trying to teach them those very basic life skills that they need, that their parents may or may not be teaching them. But they're in my classroom, it comes up, I take it as a teachable moment, I teach it. Um, and so these three rules to me make working with teenagers so much easier because so many of the problems that people run into with teenagers are they feel like they disrespect them. And if you follow rule one, I really find that's not usually a problem. They don't act like they get mad that you're treating them like a kid. Well, then don't treat them like a kid. Or, well, they make stupid mistakes and they have to punish them. Well, take their stupid mistakes and make them teachable moments and then set a consequence after that for the next time. You know, that mindset, oh, the load it takes off your classroom is huge. The load it takes off those relationships is huge. Because once again, these kids all of a sudden get this mindset of Mr. Anderton respects me. Mr. Anderton is for me. Mr. Anderton is with me. And once again, if I can win their hearts, if they know that, if they know Mr. Anderton is for them and with them and loves them and supports them, then I'm going to win their minds. And I'm not this bubbly teacher. I'm not this high five everyone as they come in the room. That's just not my personality. I'm not give everybody a hug personality. That's just not me. No, I'm tend to be pretty, just what you see here. I'm not this bubbly teacher. I'm not that super friendly, sweet teacher that everybody loves. But my kids know that I'm there for them, with them, and they know I'm going to do everything in my power to help them learn and succeed in my classroom and succeed at life. And when they know that because I follow these three rules, man, the love that I get back, the willing to buckle down and work when it gets hard that I get out of my kids because of this and because of the other things we've talked about, using that class time, helping them speak chemistry, it's huge. And it reaps huge benefits across the board for all of my classes and outside of class. Because, like if I'm at a basketball game and I see the kids doing something stupid, I can speak into it in a way that another teacher may not be able to. And I'm going to get a better response out of those kids because of these things, because how I treat them. And so this is just huge to me. And when kids feel this, they're going to be more engaged in class. And it makes a huge difference that way. So let's look at action steps. Decide where you're weak in this. Where do you need to work? Do you not treat them with respect out the bat? Do you not greet them with an honest smile? Like for me, like learning kids' names. I really strive to learn kids' names in the first week. Really the first couple of days. I really work hard at it. Because it's amazing when you see a kid in the hall and you're like, hey, John, hey, Susie, hey, Rebecca. They're like, wow, he knew my name. It's amazing. I had a college professor that learned my name, and I was like, whoa, that doesn't happen. It speaks there. And genuine, like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Using that time between classes to really try to interact and build those relationships. That's a big thing. Or do you treat them like kids and you need to work on that? Or do you kind of hold them to too high of a standard and expect them to act like a 28-year-old instead of an 18-year-old? Where can you grow? And then find ways to help yourself grow that way. What can you remind yourself of? Do you need to have a picture of a little baby to remind you not to treat them like babies? Do you need, I don't know, whatever works for you. So just brainstorm and think about that. Interact in the Facebook group, do something like that to come up with ideas to help you with these three rules. Because how we treat our kids ripples out across the classroom and throughout the year. So that's the end of lesson 7. Look forward to seeing you in lesson 8.